Hi there, thanks for watching. What I have here is raw data in Excel from 62 participants. I want to transform this data into nice, sweet-looking tables and figures that I can export and put into my Microsoft Word document. I start by transforming everything into a proper Excel data table. I click once in any cell inside the table, and I select the Insert tab and click on the Table button and click OK. Now I proceed with the tables and figures, and I will create one sheet for each question. Let's start with question 1. This was a short and simple question where the participants could only select 1 out of 3 responses. I click once anywhere inside the data table, click on the tab Insert, and click on the Pivot Table button. I click OK to execute, and a new sheet is automatically created. I double click on the tab and rename it to Q1. Then I click and drag Q1 to the field Row Labels and click and drag Q1 to the field Values. I right-click anywhere in the right column and select Value Field Settings. There I select Count and click OK. I click once anywhere inside the table. I click on the tab Insert, Column, and select a simple 2D column figure. But it's not something that I would accept. You need to polish it. Therefore, I right-click on the bar and select Format Data Series. I select Series option and change the gap width to No Gap. As you know, there are no gaps between ranges for continuous variables like age. Secondly, I right-click on the bar and select Format Data Series. I select Fill, then Pattern Fill, and switch to black and white. And I select a distinct and easy to see pattern. Then I right-click again, select Format Data Series, select Border Color, and select Solid Line. I switch to black color and click the Close button. Next, I right-click on any of these 2 field buttons and I select the option Hide All Field Buttons. I think figures should be clean, neat, and not cluttered with redundant information. And that is why I also click and delete the header and all text information. So I select the Layout tab and click on Axis Titles, and then Vertical Axis Title, then Rotated Title. I write the new title in the input field and press Enter on my keyboard. I right-click on any of the horizontal lines and select Delete. To remove the borders, I make sure that the figure is selected by clicking once on its outer frame. Then I select the Format tab, click on Shape Outline and drag down to No Outline. Finally, I right-click a bar and select the option Add Data Labels. To conclude, I give the row labels their proper names, up to 21, 22 through 25, and 26 or older. Data visualization is about keeping things clean and tidy, which in turn is why I remove so much unnecessary information, including the colors. To create the same table but with the percentages, I just calculate the percentages for each of the 3 age categories and create a separate table with those digits in that table. Let's do that here and now. How many percents are 22 out of a total of 62? Well, in a cell, start by typing the equals sign, then just 22 divided by 62 and press the Enter key on your keyboard. Then click once again inside that cell to select it. And click on this tiny percentage button in the center of the menu. 35%. Now underneath it, write the equals sign again, followed by 30 divided by 62, and press the Enter key. And select the cell again and click on the percentage button. Repeat the process for the third and last figure, 10. Write the names of the 3 categories up to 21, 22 through 25, and 26 or older. Click and drag and select everything and then Insert and 2D column. Let me clean it up a little bit. Now, which type of figure you should include in your report? Frequencies or percentages? I don't know. Well, it depends on the purpose of your investigation, the type of empirical data that you have, and what you want to convey to your readers. Now let me briefly show you how easy it is to copy and paste Excel figures into Word. Just right-click on the outer frame and copy it. Go to Word and just paste it where you want it. Okay, question 2. This was the type of question where my participants could select 2 or more responses if they wanted. Hence, I need to treat each response as a separate question and count the numbers of yes replies. I go back to the data sheet and I click once anywhere inside the table. I select the tab Insert and click on the Pivot Table button and confirm by pressing OK. Double click on the small tab and rename it to Q2. I click and drag to the Row Labels field. Then I click and drag to the Values field. I right-click in the right column in the table and select Value Fields Settings. I select Count and I click OK. And now I can see the number of participants that ticked the Yes box for this question. And then I repeat this process for the 2 remaining alternatives. Then Pivot Table, but this time I select the options to place the table in an existing worksheet. I go to the newly created sheet with the question 2 and click on any cell below the old table and click OK. This time it's the Q2B that I drag to the fields Row Labels and Values. I make sure to right-click and select Count. Then I go back to the data to create the third and final pivot table in the same existing worksheet. And this time it's of course Q2C that is being dragged into the proper fields. I give each row a short header. I click and drag to select all cells. I click on the tab Insert, select a simple yet effective 2D column again. Right-click on the bars, select Format Data Series, Fills. pattern fill, and I make sure that it's black and white. And while I'm here, I select the border colors, then solid line. I right-click any of the horizontal lines and select delete. I also remove any unnecessary textual information. I select the Format tab, click on Shape Outline and drag down to No Outline. Select Layout, Axis Titles, Vertical Axis, Rotated, and write Frequency. Right-click a bar and select the option Add Data Labels. Okay, moving on. Question 3 was a ranked scale. I just repeat most of what I've shown so far. I click once anywhere in the original datasheet, Insert, Pivot Table, into a new worksheet. Double-click the tab, rename it to Q3, then drag Q3 to row labels and values, and then right-click in the right column, select value field settings, select the option count to show the frequencies. I click anywhere inside this table to select the cell and then insert a 2D column. Right-click on the bars, select Format Data Series, Fill, Pattern Fill, and I make sure that it's black and white, and I select a sweet pattern. And once I'm here, I might as well change the border colors, make sure that it's a solid line and that it's black and white. Right-click a horizontal line, delete, remove unnecessary information. Format tab, Shape Outline, No Outline. Right-click on any of the two field buttons and select the option Hide All Field Buttons and wave goodbye to those. I right-click a bar, select the option Add Data Labels. Finally, I select the Layout tab, click Axis Titles, Vertical Axis Title, Rotated, and write Frequency. Now, since question 3 is an interval question, I can also create a new figure, and this time we select the option to summarize by average to get the mean value on the scale for all 62 participants. To do this, I go back to the datasheet. Click once in the table, select Insert, click on Pivot Table, and select to place it in the existing worksheet. Click on the tab for Q3, select the sweet spot for the new table and click OK. This time I drag Q3 to the Values field. Right-click in the table and select Value Field Setting and Average, and click on the button Number Format and select the option Number and set the number of decimals to 1. Click OK twice to execute. I can also calculate other values using this technique. So let's do the standard deviation. And here I will use 2 decimals. This will provide the mean value and the standard deviation for all participants. Let's assume that I want to split this by age. Then I just click once inside any of the 2 pivot tables. Drag Q1, which is age, to the row labels. and I rename the 3 categories. Okay, let's create a figure with mean values and standard deviations. I start by clicking once anywhere inside the table with averages, then I select Insert and 2D column. I make the cosmetic changes that we have discussed earlier. To add separate standard deviations to each bar, I right-click on any bar and I go to Select Data. I click on the button Switch Row-Column and click OK. This is done to separate the bars. I right-click and change the patterns. To delete the information under the bars, I go to Layout, Axis, Primary Horizontal Axis and select Show Axis without labeling. Then I go to Layout, Legend and select Show Legend at Right. To add the error bars, I click on a bar to select it. I go to the Layout tab, click on the button for Error Bars and select the More Error Bars option. Here I make sure that the Both option is ticked, and for the error amount I select Custom, Specify Value. Okay, that looks okay. I can use that in my manuscript. It's time for question 4. This is a simple dichotomous question which I transform into a figure in a couple of steps. I click once inside the data table, Insert, Pivot Table, New Worksheet, rename it to Q4, drag Q4 into Values and Labels. I right-click in the right column to select Value Field Settings, switch to Count, change the row labels to Yes and No. If the Pivot Table field is temporarily gone, just click once anywhere inside the table and it will come back. I select Insert, 2D Column. It's really easy to use the pivot table function inside Excel to elaborate and to change the figures. Let's say I want to cross-tab this with age. All I have to do is drag Q1 to Legends field. I enter the proper names for the 3 age categories, up to 21, 22 through 25 and 26 or older. It's very easy to switch the variables by clicking and dragging them back and forth. e.g. let Q1 and Q4 switch places. Hide all field buttons. Right-click the bar to select Format Data Series. Select a black and white pattern fill. Change the border color to a solid and black line. And in the tab Format, select Shape Outline and select No Outline. Right-click the bars and select Add Data Labels. Right-click and delete the horizontal lines, and under the Layout tab, I click Axis Title, Vertical Axis, Rotated Title, and type in Frequency. And here I also add a horizontal axis. Okay, it's time for question 5. This is an open-ended question. Unlike the coding of the fixed responses so far, the coding of the open-ended question 5 requires some interpretations by me, the coder. Now, this is the way I do it. I start by listing all the responses. And to do this, I go and click once anywhere inside the data table. I click the Insert tab, Pivot Table to a new worksheet. Double-click the small tab, rename it to Q5. I drag the variable Q5A to the field Row Labels. Ta-da! I now have an alphabetical list of every single reply. Then I read through all responses and create a couple of overarching categories or themes which captures every reply. Now I try to create broad categories that captures all the results. Now in this example, I created 5 categories or themes. Hard, which I will code with the digit 1. Unfair will be coded with a 2. Fun, 3. Rewarding, 4. And lastly, the category Other, which will be given the digit 5. And as you know, these categories, they're not given by Excel or any other software. I created those after reading through all the participants' replies. Next, I go back to the raw data table to start sorting all responses into these 5 categories. I mark each participant's written response to question 5 with a number to indicate what category it belongs to. Then it's just a matter of counting how many participants belong to each category. And I do that by going back to the worksheet for question 5. Here I click once anywhere inside the table to bring back the pivot table field. Then I switch Q5A with the Q5B in the row labels, and I put Q5B into values. Nothing happens yet, I know, because I need to right-click and refresh the table. I enter the proper row labels: hard, unfair, fun, rewarding, and other. Then I click once anywhere inside the table, click the tab Insert, select a 2D column. I delete unnecessary text information, hide all field buttons, right-click on any of the horizontal lines and select Delete. Right-click the bar to select Format Data Series. Select a black and white pattern fill. Change border colors to a solid and black line. In the tab Format, I select Shape Outline and select No Outline. Right-click the bars and select Add Data Labels. And under the Layout tab, I click Axis Title, Vertical Axis, Rotated, and type in Frequency. Now if I want this in percentages, I need to create a new table. We've done it before and we're going to do it again. I write the names of the 5 categories again, but this time I enter the percentages instead. It's super easy to do, as you know, since I just have to type the equals sign, 10 divided by the total, which is 62, and press the Enter key on my keyboard. Then I go to the Home tab and click on the small % button. I repeat this for the remaining 4 categories. Select everything, click Insert, select 2D column. Next I format this one so it looks really nice for my Word document. Finally, question 6, yet another ranked scale. I will do it really quick, and you can watch me do it since it's the exact procedure as before. Okay, that's it, and I wish you success and good luck with all your surveys in the future. And if you enjoyed the video, please don't be shy, click that like button or subscribe. Bye bye.